Hello, this is Maria. Welcome to my stamping world. Today's video tutorial is on how to make this lovely marigold and these other flowers that you see on this card. One punch, two different flowers. I'll show you how to make the marigold first. The punch that I'm talking about is the 5-petal flower punch, and I'm going to use some more mustard cardstock. You take the 5-petal punch and you punch out 5 of these petals. Now I'll save that cardstock because I'll be using it for the other flower. You've got 5 petals. And I didn't do it in this card, but I'm going to sponge it with some Cajun Craze because some of the marigolds in my garden actually have a little some bronze on them as well as yellow. So I'm just going to sponge the edges of all with Cajun Craze. So there's the 5 petals, all nicely sponged. I'm going to take them and pile them one on top of each other on my matte pack. Marigold is probably one of my favorite flowers in the garden. I actually grow them from seed every year. They're probably one of the easier flowers to start from seed. And then with your pricker, just punch up, put a hole right in the center of all of them. Then you take your paper snips and you just snip just a little ways between each of the 2 petals, each of the petals. Just a little snip. Don't go all the way to the center. Well, two of them I've already done the others. And then I'm going to make the hole in the center a little bit bigger, and I'll take my small hole punch, and with each of them I'll just make the hole a little bit bigger because I'm actually going to put some stamens through them, and the poke hole just isn't big enough. So I cut 4 little strips of more mustard cardstock from the remnant here, and these are going to be the stamen that goes through the flower. So you bunch your stamens together, and what I do is I just put a little bit of Tombow glue in about the middle. Get my hand out of the way. And then set it aside to dry. You don't have to do that step, but I just find it's a little bit easier when it comes to put the stamen in the flower. Okay, let's shape the petals. Now that we've cut each of the flowers, you can take a stylus or the end of a paintbrush and just fold each of the petals over like this. Do that for each one of them. And after you're done, you can take your fingers and just pinch each of the petals and shape them until you're happy. Then with the stylus, just take the end of the petal and turn it down. Just put the stylus underneath and my thumb on top and just turn each of the edges under. Now to assemble the flower, you pick up the stamens, pick up one of the petals and insert the stamens through the bottom. There you have one. And with some Tombow glue, put some glue before you pick up your next flower and insert it through insert the stamens and layer it on top of the first flower, but move the petals so that they're not one on top of each other. So there's 2 layers. Some more Tombow glue. Pick up another layer, another petal. Wind it through, let it drop down, and again position the petals so that they are between the other petals. So far we've got 3 layers. Move them down so that the glue touches them, and you just continue to build your flower. And there's your marigold. I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow glue on the tops of the stamens and some Dazzling Diamonds. There you have the marigold. That's 1 punch, 1 flower. The second flower is this Tangerine Tango flower, and it is also made with a 5-petal flower punch. Let me show you how that's done. Take your 5-petal flower punch, some Tangerine Tango cardstock, and with some Dotto adhesive, adhere it to a piece of photocopy paper. Then take your 5-petal punch and place it so that the points here are halfway through the petal. And with your finger, just rub off the Dotto adhesive. Sometimes you get it perfectly, sometimes you don't. This one is not quite like I like it, but then you take your snips, and between every other petal, just do a tiny snip. And in the flower here, I actually sponged it with chocolate chip ink. You can do that if you wish. Then on a mat pack, and you can take the end of your stylus or your prick, and you just turn the petal over And that makes the flower stand up. Now to do the middle, how I did the middle, I used a 3/4 inch circle punch, punched out a piece of chocolate chip, and again with the matte pack and the back end of my prick, I just push down in the center to kind of create a little cup. I don't know if you can you see the little cup? And for the very center, the yellow, what I did was I found that the eye from the two owl bird punch, the eye, is just the right size. So again, with a scrap of more mustard, I just punched out one eye. And again, this time with the end of a paintbrush, or actually a stylus is probably better. Just kind of push it in to make it like a little cup. And that'll become the center of the flower. Now, I like to take a bit of Stampin' Dimensional, want to raise that part of the flower. And the end part of the Stampin' Dimensional, I'll just take a little piece, put it in the center of the flower. Put the chocolate piece, which is cupped, over it. And the Stampin' Dimensional will keep the height of that. And then with a little bit of Tombow adhesive, it's a tiny little piece and it tends to, just a little Tombow adhesive. Of course, it never wants to come out when you want it to. Put it right in the center. And there you have the second flower. Now you could put some dazzling diamonds on that. You can put some crystal effects on that. So that's the second flower made with the one punch, which is the 5-petal flower punch. Thanks for watching.